The best of the Morning X 99X.
The Morning X, Barnes, Leslie, and Jimmy, please welcome Mr. Mike Myers.
Yes.
Hi.
Hey, Mike.
Hello, Atlanta.
Mike, is this intimidating or what? 13 people staring you right in the face, ready to ask all kind of questions?
I feel like I'm on trial.
We're at Planet Hollywood upstairs. There's 13 of us facing one way and Mike facing right at us.
The only way to describe this scene is it looks like a Senate hearing. It really does.
I am not now, nor have I ever been a member of the Communist Party.
Looks like C-SPAN.
Mike, we picked the biggest Mike Myers fans, and they're all here in Atlanta.
Wow, you did that by height, or?
Yeah, by height, weight. Where have you been for the last 4 years? You kind of took a little bit of a breather.
I took a year off. What happened was, a whole bunch of stuff happened. My father passed away. My wife's brother got killed in a car accident. All this stuff of a personal nature happened, and I got married. And my wife and I just decided we're going to take a year off and go see my Auntie Molly in Liverpool and go hang out with my mom and go see, movies and read books. So I basically just took a year off, and I'd spoken to Bill Murray, who had taken a year off as well. He was hosting on Saturday Night Live, and he'd studied French at the Sorbonne for a year.
Yeah.
And I had no such lofty aspirations. Instead, I studied hockey for a year. I took hockey lessons for an entire year between 9 and 11 every Wednesday morning. And then about this time last year, I'm driving home from hockey practice, and I hear the song The Look of Love by Burt Bacharach. And I started talking The Look of Love, which is the sexiest song in the world.
Oh, yeah.
But not when you're singing it to Jimmy. It didn't have the same
Even
connotation.
then, I'm seeing a little bit
Just
of
didn't look right.
a little mojo happening,
a
baby.
connection, call it what you will.
Yes, that's the love that dare not speak its name. And and I just started talking like this swinger, like, hey, baby, how are you? And I started talking to my wife like, let's go in the back and shag, let's swing, baby. And my wife was laughing for 3 days, and then she said, okay, shut up.
Yeah.
So I wrote the script this time last year, and New Line Cinema called me up and said, what are you working on? And I said, I just finished the script. And they read it, and they greenlit it, and we went into production.
How long did it take to film Austin Powers?
It took about 2 months.
That had to be pain hanging out with Elizabeth Hurley for 2 months.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Hurley,
Tough.
if the aliens came to the planet and said, we want one example of humanity,
Yeah,
I would say,
right.
take Elizabeth Hurley. We all look like
Number one
her.
in my top 5.
Yeah, we all look like her, right?
Are there any?
I mean, it's hard to avoid the obvious swing reference.
She is
when
quite swingable, if you will.
she's swingable.
If you must.
She achieves swingosity.
Yes, she is. She goes off the swingometer.
Do you guys have any
Dangerously into the
questions? A
red.
bunch of the listeners are here. Just, spout in, put your hand up, say your name.
Hi, Mike. This is David. I do a lot of live theater here in Atlanta, and I was curious, while on Saturday Night Live, is there any particular moment that you had to really, really bite your tongue to keep in character? I mean,
I've never had to bite my tongue. The crew on Saturday Night Live is amazing. Gilda Radner used to call it an under-rehearsed Broadway opening once a week. The hardest thing ever that I've had to do was we had to rewrite Wayne's World for the Gulf War. The Gulf War had just broken out. And we were rewriting 33 seconds before we went to air because, it's like, Americans are potentially going to die, and yet we have a sketch. So we had to sort of think about all that. And the most satisfying thing I ever did on Saturday Night Live, other than play hockey with Wayne Gretzky, was receiving like sacks of mail from servicemen in the Gulf who said it was their first chance to laugh about. They're so tense and pent up that it was their first chance to laugh about the impending battle, which, thank God, went tremendously well for us.
The Wayne Gretzky thing that you mentioned was brilliant. I mean, it was really funny. And I'm wondering, could you point to, let's say, one particular piece in your tenure there that really stood out? Because I know, like, for me, I would say the thing that the Madonna, the Wayne's World with Madonna was.
Well, it was just such
anything
an embarrassment of riches being on that show. I mean, Madonna and then Barbra Streisand came on, and we didn't know she was coming on the air. And all of a sudden, I look up and I go, "Okay, there's Barbra Streisand. I'm from Toronto."
Wait, you didn't know she was really going to appear? Come on.
She had said that she might come, but she didn't come to any of the rehearsals. And the first I saw her was live to millions of people behind camera one. And then all of a sudden, I see the stage manager waving his arms, going, "It's Barbra Streisand. She's coming on." And I'm like, okay, I just soiled myself. Wayne Gretzky was great. I'm from Toronto, and, he's A God in My Country. The Aerosmith Wayne's World with Tom Hanks. Wow, a lot of stuff. I mean, I just loved being on that show. I'd wanted to be on it since I was 11.
First of all, my name's Sherry. Hi, and I just have to tell you, please don't take this the wrong way, but you're number one on my top 5 list. You're the coolest of the cool. So
I don't take that in any way.
Please don't.
Don't take this wrong, but I really like you. Thank you. Wait a minute. That's offside to say something nice like
all right,
that.
Back to business.
Yes.
My question was, I am a big fan of Paul Baldwin, and
right.
he only made 1 appearance, right?
He made 2, in fact.
I never saw the second one.
Yeah.
So what happened? How did you change that?
Well, it was. I was doing an impression of my mother-in-law. I'm like this Protestant guy from Toronto with English parents, and I married a New York Jewish girl from Queens. And I met her mother-in-law, and she looked at me and she said, "Great, look at that face. That's such a Goya Shapunim. He's got the map of Ireland on him." And I used to do an impression of her to her face and make her laugh because she's a very, very, very cool lady. And I never thought of actually like going in drag, although it's well within my brief as a Canadian and British performer. We're either naked or in women's clothes. But so I just loved the way that she would say coffee and dogs and daughters. And so I did Paul Baldwin, no big whoop. And then I thought, well, what am I doing? Why not put on that dress? It's in my blood. I'm English.
Yeah.
So we made the switch over.
At what point did you wake up and say, you know what, it's time to leave SNL. It's time to go?
Well, it was right around the time after my father passed away, and I was actually at my friend Rob Lowe, who had hosted, and he was in Wayne's World. We were at his house, and he's got like a really nice wife, and he has a really normal life with kids and a dog, and he has like a backyard and stuff. And we were living in a suitcase in Los Angeles, and then in our apartment in New York, which was 1 cubic centimeter, and you had to pay a lot for it. And I just went, you know what? I'm beat, and I need to...
Back and forth.
And my contract was up. It was the day of my contract being up because it was a 6-year contract. And I just went, I can't zip back and forth. So we went and we got a dog. Now we have 3 dogs. And we got like a little place with a backyard and stuff. And I just needed to nest, I just, at that time, you go through phases in your life, where you go, I'm going to get cable, and you feel really grown up.
Woo!
And then it's like, you know what? We should get a futon that turns into a couch. And then you go out of your futon phase, you go into your dog phase, and now we're just about to get into our kid phase.
More of this interview you don't want to miss is back in minutes on the best of the morning X 99X.
YouTube personality Benny Johnson has cracked the code on a new era of newsmaking.
And we have some major members of the White House team that will be joining the program. I know it makes you uncomfortable. It makes me uncomfortable. But ladies and gentlemen, sometimes you just gotta dive right in and say, well.
It's a new cultural landscape.
This is the proper messaging. Thank you. Let's rock and roll.
The Benny Show. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.